This is Hugh Ballou. Welcome to Getting Unstuck, accessing your hidden potential, your inner potential, the potential that you maybe weren't aware that you had all along. I told people that were on Facebook before the call that I'm old. Yes, I am old. It's kind of fun. It beats the alternative. I think, Nick, you're one of my contemporaries, and I wonder if you're still in Asia. Are you still in Hong Kong or Singapore? I forgot where you were. And others, love to know where you're watching from. The advantage is I've been around, I've done it, I know what works. I've worked with leaders on 4 continents, changing how they approach business. In the last year alone, I've impacted 500 charities around the United States, teaching them fundamental principles of how to attract more revenue, how to lead better, how to minimize their burnout, how to engage their board of directors. We'll touch some of those in this webinar. Hi, Frenchie. We'll touch some of these on this webinar tonight. There are recurring themes that happen when I talk to people, and they come up over and over in different kinds of settings. And I have learned from those. I've learned from the mistakes of others, and I've learned from my own mistakes. So one of the advantages of being old is I know what works, and I've put it into systems. So I'm going to share my screen, and I've developed a little slideshow for you. Here we are, and it's called Unbound Leader. And what it is how are you going to release what's holding you back right now? And the Unbound Leader, I spent 40 years as a musical conductor. I know how to build a high-performing culture. I know how to define specific outcomes and focus on those. I know how to give clear directions, because what the orchestra sees is what I get. And I know how to model excellence that I expect from a choir, from an orchestra. So we transpose those skills into business or nonprofit organizations. What we're going to learn in this training is how to think clear. How are we going to be very clear on our outcomes? How will we tell people what's in our brain so they understand how to collaborate, how to affiliate with us, and how to function on our teams? We're going to identify the value that we're giving people. We're going to empower our teams. We're going to learn how to monetize the content. The value is what people get from us. We need to tell them why our offering is valuable to them. They need to understand why they need us. And internally, our team needs to understand how to communicate that. And then we make money because we give people that value. And just because we make a sale doesn't mean we're rich. It means we got some money. How do we create recurring, sustainable income? There are lots of people selling lots of quick, get-rich-quick schemes. Scheme is good. It's a schematic if you're repairing an electronic device. It's not a negative word. Get rich quick is you can go up and down just as fast. And one item isn't going to change your future. One product, one service, one webinar. What's going to change your future is building a sustainable system. It's the framework for a business. It's not a job. Our first barrier is to think about ourselves. James Allen, in his little book, As a Man Thinketh, said, people want to change their circumstances, but are unwilling to change themselves. They therefore remain bound. If we're going to change the future, we must start by changing ourselves. And we can't do it by ourselves. I'm going to talk to you later about some of the ways to do that. This is me in the morning. I think about, oh, what have I gotten myself into? I could have just worked for somebody. I could have been a barber. Why do I do this big deal stuff? I do it because it's my passion. I do it because I have value to give other people. I do it because it creates a sustainable future for me and my family. I want to convert my passion to profit. Enjoy the journey, enjoy the prosperity. It's an abundance mindset, not a scarcity thinking model. We think little when we should be thinking big. We think we need to fix everything rather than being grateful for abundance. So right now, take whatever says here, I know that. Anything you think you know, take it off. Put it out of your mind. Also, I don't deserve to be successful. Throw that away. You do deserve to be successful. Money is a recurring, it grows. Money is replenishable. We can earn money. We can generate money. We're not taking it from other people. We're passing it around. Starting with ourselves, we learn there's learning opportunities all around us. I was flying through Chicago on an airline I won't name anymore. They've been in the news though, and it starts with you. And I had a 2-hour layover, and it was early in the morning. I was kind of tired. I wanted to just chill and veg out. I looked at my shoes, looked down at my shoes, and I said, "Ooh, you're going to this conference, Baloo, and you don't look professional. Maybe you should start with getting a shoe shine." So I walked by on Concourse F, there's an empty seat. And I looked, here's this guy running up, says, "Go ahead, get up there, I'm coming." He was helping out a woman who couldn't get out of her booth. And he came, and I said, "Can you make me look professional?" And he says, "No, but I can make your shoes look great." And I thought, oh. I said, "Oh, I bet you're good at what you do." He says, "No, I'm great at what I do." And I said, "Whoa, this is going to be interesting. I'm going to pay attention." And he's shining my shoes, and he's talking it the whole time. He says, "You know, you got to show up. Not just physically, you got to be emotionally present. You got to be there. You got to be prepared. You see these rags? I take them home every night. I clean them. If I'm going to be great, I have to be prepared. These other guys, they just use old rags, and they're not great. I'm here to serve others, and they know that. And I show people that I care about them. That is important." And he said, last, we have to be great at what we do. We don't need more mediocre people. So be great at what you do. I gave the guy a $10 tip. I said, whoa, I bet he got lots of tips. He was very inspiring. And as I was leaving, I said, "You should go on the road and teach this." He said, "No way, I love what I do." And I thought, well, he's happy doing what he does. He had a late model cell phone. His uniform was pressed. He was at the top of his game. He served others. This man had guiding principles. He knew exactly what he was doing, and he had the principles to make decisions. We don't have principles, and we don't know where we're going. Why are we doing what we're doing? There's a great video, TED Talk by Simon Sinek, S-I-N-E-K, begin with why. Why do people need us? So we start about defining the future. When Napoleon Hill interviewed all of these great leaders, he started with Andrew Carnegie. And Andrew Carnegie said to him on goals, any idea that's held in the mind and emphasized, that's either feared or revered, begins at once to manifest itself into the most convenient and appropriate physical form available. I have people tell me, "Oh, I don't want to write down goals. I got it in my head." That's not a commitment. It's a wish. Write it down. These people, all Wanamaker, Ford, Woolworth, Edison, 5 presidents, a bunch of people that Carnegie introduced Napoleon Hill to, all had very clear, definite purpose. They knew where they were going. If they wanted money, they knew exactly how much they were having in their mind they were going to possess. This is the money. Intentional purpose. He called it definiteness of purpose. They brought value to people and they hung around good people, mastermind. And they had a positive can-do attitude. You write your goals, it defines a future arrival point, and you write it in present tense. And what Napoleon Hill discovered is if we imagine it as already having happened, you write it down, it's in present tense, it's specific, it's immeasurable, you can do it. It feeds your subconscious. So the law of attraction is about the intentionality of purpose. We must do the work to create our goals. People also, if I would like to record people that give me excuses, they're not reasons, they're excuses. I'd like to record them and play them back so they can hear how stupid it sounds. I don't want to do a plan because I don't have time to do a plan. So you got time to waste and do it over when you did it wrong, right? And you got time to really confuse everybody who wants to help you. And you got endless money to do it over and over when you could have just paid the upfront price, which is little, and written your goals and done your plan. The other stupid answer I get, which is an excuse, is it's going to limit my creativity. Well, baloney. It's not going to limit your creativity. It's going to release your creativity. You now have a clear image of where you're going, so you don't have to figure that out every day. You can use your creative energy to get there, and your team knows where you're going. Definiteness of purpose, specific, measurable goals. SMART has specific, measurable. A, share them. Be accountable to others. Realistic, it's in your budget. You can manage it. There's time is the T. You can do it within the framework. Specific, measurable, accountable. Who will you be accountable to? Those are people who will help you share your goals openly. And there's that energy field, that law of attraction. You will begin attracting people to you immediately. Your energy field changes. Be very clear defining why people need you and where you're going and when you're going to get there. The second thing I promised to talk about is us. Dun and Bradstreet did a survey in 1995, and they determined that 90% of entrepreneurs failed because they didn't have the ability to run their business. They called it management. I call it leadership. We want to fly a plane, but we haven't taken lessons. What's wrong with that picture? We're going to crash. We're going to hurt the passengers. We're going to waste money. If you're going to transform an idea into reality, transform yourself first. Sometimes business schools refer to this as the soft skills. Well, the soft skills can give you hard results or hard failures. Number one is work on self. It goes parallel with the planning. Improve yourself because you're doing something that nobody's done before. Why don't you think you need to upgrade your skills as you move? When Napoleon Hill interviewed these people, they started the goal and they were moving toward the goal as they finished the plans. We don't wait for perfection. So we work on our skills while we're working on the plan. It's the integration of strategy and performance. Remember, I'm a musical conductor. Conductor knows how to integrate this piece of paper with dots we call music into this glorious manifestation of sound. Well, you've got a plan. We call it a strategic plan. By the way, a business plan is what you give your banker, you give your investor, you give your donor. They look at it, they put it in a drawer. A strategic plan is an operational, functional document. It's a tactical plan for how you're going to get to where you want to go. It's still only a piece of paper. Make it real. Let's integrate strategy with performance. I know how to do that. I transform all of those skills from the concert stage to the boardroom. You, by the way, if you have podcasts, go to Orchestrating Success. and you'll get more from me, Orchestrating Success, or go to Hugh Ballou Podcast, HughBallouPodcast.com. And you can work on your skills, and it's free. Now, leaders, we have all these complex definitions of leadership. Leaders get things done, boom, period. Leaders understand how things get done. Now, we've got brilliance. It's a product, a service, a skill. We're a speaker. We're an author. We have programs and services. We're brilliant at that. Are we brilliant at running a business, at building a strategy? Are we brilliant at marketing? Are we brilliant at everything we need to generate the revenue through a business? Are you just pursuing a job, or are you creating a business? The Ballou 10-90 rule is 10% is your skill, what you offer. 90% is what's under the water in the iceberg. The 10% is above the water. The 90% allows you to do the 10%. So why not surround yourself with capable people? Filling your gaps. You're not weak. It's not strengths or weaknesses. Here's your skill. Here's your gap. Let's fill the gap with competent people. Let's be very good at telling them where our goals are, where we're going. Let's be very good at building relationships. Those are leadership skills. Leaders get things done. They figure out how things get done, usually with a mentor or coach. And I work with a lot of great people as their mentor, their business strategist, and they're very good at what they do. And we partner on building out the revenue stream. Leader is first and foremost an influencer. We influence others. We can't do it by ourselves. And today, push leadership, being the boss backwards is double SOB. We can't really influence people by telling them what to do. They don't want to know. They want to figure it out, and they want us to give them the coaching, the mentoring, the support, the information, so they can come up with that. If we're anxious, if we're frustrated, if we can't manage our own emotions, you're going to get that back. Emotional leadership is a fallacy. We care about people. We do not make emotional decisions. Pity, worry, all of those traps we get into. We want to rescue people by helping them out. It backfires, and we create this negative emotional relationship. We want to make thinking decisions. We want to stay calm. So James Allen said, you don't attract what you need, you attract what you are. If you're calm, if you're focused, if you're poised, if you're intentional, if you're skilled, if you're a person of integrity and principles, that's who you'll attract. If you write your goals and you're specific, you will attract people. Now, here's an orchestra. I could use a choir. Orchestra has a lot more variables to it. You look at the strings in the front. That's the backbone. They're playing a lot more than anybody else. It's the thread. You have some people in your organization that participate on that top level a lot. In the back, you got the woodwinds and you got the brass. The brass are playing pretty loud instruments. And typically, they come in when there's some intensity, some punctuation. There's a very distinct presence with the brass. They also have personalities that are commensurate with that. The woodwinds, very delicate, very precise. Nuances of color. When they're out of tune, it really stands out. Very distinct, detailed personalities. All artists pay attention to detail. We have distinctly different personalities in these different instruments. And in addition to that, trumpet player and a clarinet player, they're playing an instrument we call a transposing instrument. They play a C, it's written a C in my score, it sounds B flat. What's with that? I have to be able to interpret that. Look at what's written and know that I'm going to get a different sound. The French horn, English horn transposes down a fifth. What sounds, excuse me, a little sneeze there. What sounds is not what's written. Some people on your team, you'll ask a question and you get an answer that's sounds like it's been transposed. Leaders understand how to take information from others and be very clear on how it fits. We also want to create the harmony of the different personalities, the different sounds, the different intensities. Now, the percussion people, you see them hitting on things, they're not really hitting, they're not mashing. There is a delicacy of bringing the sound. They extract the sound from the timpani. They extract the sound from the snare drum or the tambourine. Tambourine's this little triangle thing. Tambourine, boom, boom. Triangle. The triangle player may sit there and count 137 bars of rest, and they'll play at the exact right moment. You want to make sure you take advantage of people who don't participate all the time, who will participate at the right time if we invite them. Now, all of these distinct personalities are like our teams, our boards, our affiliates, informal, former teams. If you're talking to one person, you've got a team. We don't run an organization by ourselves. So we want to build people that understand our principles, understand our values, understand where we're going, and respect you as the leader. So we want to attract the right people because we've defined the culture. This is how we function. This is where we're going. This is how we'll work together. You as the leader can choose to create a collaborative environment or one where you boss everybody and they resent you. If you want to pretend you know everything, they're going to prove that you don't. So the best leaders don't have the right answers. The best leaders don't worry about making sure people get things done. The best leaders have good questions, and they define outcomes, and they create systems where there's metrics and accountabilities built into the work. We are not the hatchet person with the accountability club. We are the person that inspires our team to function at a high level. People who are not musical conductors perceive the conductor as a dictator. Well, let me tell you, you got a little white stick, you really can't make anybody do anything. But you're paying union people to show up for a gig, 2 hours or so. They're going to leave when it's over, whether you're done or not. Your job is to inspire them to function at a high level. So good leaders build leaders on teams and influence them to function on a much higher level. We're back to working on your skill. We are the influencer. They're going to play as I influence them. If the orchestra respects the conductor, they play as the conductor intends. If they don't, they play exactly as I direct. There's a nuance there. Your team should function like a fine-tuned orchestra that responds to every nuance of the conductor. We're guiding the pathway, inspiring, and keeping it together. The buck stops here. We have good people. We've thought about who we want. We've listed the competencies in our plan. We've defined the culture we want by guiding principles. Didn't talk about those. Those are in, which you'll find in my podcast and other things that I have. By the way, I'm going to offer you at the end of this a free report I did. And it's about this effective systems about creating effective meetings. Bad meetings kill teams. Boom. Does that look familiar? And so at the end, I will tell you how to get my free report on conducting power-packed meetings. That's how you shape the culture. I'm also going to give you an opportunity to participate in a great program that I've launched. It's the nuts and bolts of what to do next and how to be bringing in more money, because what we're doing isn't right. And the market tells us by not buying, or not buying enough, or not paying the price we deserve. So boring meetings are part of our problem. We do what we've been taught, and we've been taught to do boring meetings. Let me give you a couple of tips. There's 10 tips in that report that you're going to get conducting power pack meetings. Number one, never ever use an agenda for a meeting. A conductor never uses an agenda. We have deliverables, the specific outcomes. We want to accomplish this. We want to learn this piece of music. We want to learn this section. We want to create a sense of ensemble, which is how people perform at a much higher level. We can't make it happen. We inspire it to happen. We create the space and we direct it with very clear outcomes. So an agenda could be like, we're going to talk about marketing. You've attended meetings, we're going to talk about this. There's a checklist, we're going to do this. Well, it's activity. That serves no useful purpose. Instead, say our deliverables are to define 5 marketing strategies that will make a difference, 25% difference in our income for the next 12 months. Very specific outcome for the time together. It's like your goal. This is what we're going to walk away having accomplished. It's a paradigm shift. It's a mindset shift. It's bringing in new functioning to the organization you lead. There's a bunch there. Here's another one. Only plan 2/3 of the time. If you got a 90-minute meeting, plan 60 minutes of activity. Why? It takes longer than you think. Allow time for that. Plan the meeting from back to the front. Understand each component. It's a design. We're going to do those 5 marketing strategies. First, we'll brainstorm all the options. Then we'll cluster them to see which ones are related or combine 2 or 3 to make a stronger idea. And then we're going to sort them for priority. Which ones are easier? Which ones were harder? Which ones are less money? Which ones are more money? Which ones can we do sooner or later? And then we start putting a priority to those. And then we end up with a plan. Here's step 1. Here's step 2. Here's step 3, 4, 5. We got the 5 things in order because we've gone through a process. We time it out. That's going to take 30 minutes. All right. So we start brainstorm, we sort, and then we start doing a plan. And you let people know what kind of meeting. Well, it's brainstorming, it's analyzing, and it's planning. It's 3 stages. Tell people what kind of thinking that we're going to use. We develop relationships with people. Leadership is based on a relationship. Communication is founded in relationship. Financial results are based on relationship. Donors don't donate. You don't go say, give me money. They don't donate until you've built a relationship. Customers don't buy until they have a trusted relationship. So we bring people into our teams based on relationship. They're going to buy the idea. They want to be working together with you. So relationship, we put it into the meeting, it becomes process. People understand that it's a process that nobody can control, that we work out together. We build consensus. Very different dynamic than power. Relationship builds trust. Relationship becomes process. Process replaces relationship. So it's about relationship. If your best buddy's on the team and you always defer to them and they always get their way, then it's going to diffuse anybody else's energy and there's not a trusted relationship. We must have equal process. Everybody has equal access that creates trust. Trust builds on different community, and the community builds relationship as the whole. People have relationship with each other. Finally, I've been to 23 cities in the last year and a half, impacting charities and social entrepreneurs. I'll be in Vero Beach on May the 19th, 2017. Be in Vero Beach doing a leadership empowerment symposium. It's a full day. It's what I've learned in 30 years. You get a workbook. It's priceless. Leadershipvero.com. Leadership Vero, V-E-R-O. You can learn what maybe you didn't know before you started, or before you start, you can get it all together. This is nuts to bolts. It's a sequence. Boom. What do you need to run your enterprise? In the last 23 of these, the top issue is leader burnout. Leaders are burned out. They're doing too much. Second, my team is not functioning up to my expectations or their expectations. Third issue, we're not generating sufficient revenue. So let's talk about balance. How do we balance life as a leader? We got to put time on our calendar to do things that aren't work. We got to rest. Rests in music are there for a very distinct purpose. So we have rest. It gives us a time to reflect on what's really going on, gives us perspective. So when we have perspective, we can evaluate things and we can refine what we're doing. We get smarter because we learn from our mistakes. Those are called learning opportunities. And when we refine, it inspires our planning for the future. And then our planning energizes our work. We're balanced. Doesn't mean that things are equal. So we create that balance. That's part of effective leadership. It's managing our time. Now, in our plan, we've done the plan, we've defined the value, we've surrounded ourselves with a good team. Part of that team needs to be a marketing person. We need to let people know what we have. But if we're really clear on the value we would bring, and we're really clear on why people need us, and we engage people around us who are the very best we can find, we're going to begin converting our passion into quantifiable results, including revenue. So we want to run an enterprise without any plan. We want to conquer the world, and all we have is these tactics. In the military, we have an objective. We're going to conquer that objective. We come back from that objective, and we have the tactics. How are we going to get there? Step 1, 2, 3, 4. Part of what I wanted to do is open your mind to what could be next for you to unlock the potential that's inside of you. Remember, what you've got is 10%, the Blue 10-90 rule. 90% is all of that makes it possible. And maybe that's not your gift. Maybe your gift is here. How do you create the structure so that you can do what you do well and don't get lost in the mud trying to figure out things which are not your skill? So partner with somebody that can help you get there. So write your goals down. Look at your long-term objectives. Short-term goals are 1 year or less. In the next 12 months, what are you going to accomplish? Write it down and come back from there. Look at what you're going to do monthly. Start now. Write your goals. Get up in the morning and look at it. Read it every single day. I think it's chapter 2 of Think and Grow Rich. He said, read this every day. Definite purpose. Positive mental attitude. Mastermind group. And you bring something valuable to the world. You vision what the future looks like as already having happened. He also found out that people couldn't hold a positive and a negative thought simultaneously. So these positive images displaced the negative thinking. Remember, our thinking drives our results, not our results drives our, we don't go backwards. We fail, it drives our thinking. No, we evaluate that, but our thinking drives the results. And it's not foolishly optimistic. It is, I know where I'm going and I'm convinced of that, and I have the intentionality of providing value to those who need it, and I'm good at it. So claim it. Start now. The action plan is how will you get to the goal. So we've got the goal, it's in present tense. It defines the future. I'm in possession of this much money because I have this many customers. Action plan is in action statements: to create, to develop, to implement. It's a tactical plan. So your action items need to have a specific action. Who's going to do it? If you have a team, there needs to be a champion. They will do it. And third, an action date, start date, end date, whatever kind of action date. I think the people that I see in life who make the most money, who are the most successful, who are the best at what they do, Reed already said that. They have a coach, they have a mentor, they have an accountability partner. They work with somebody who helps them stay on their game and improve. It takes 2 coaches for me. People more successful have more coaches. Plan your work, work your plan. You've heard that before because it's true. Now, I'm going to get off of the share here for a minute, and I'm going to look and see if anybody has any questions. If you have questions, Just type them in for me. There's a Q&A. I don't see any questions. Either I've lost you or I've answered all of them on the way. So I'm going to go back and complete the rest of this plan that I'm going to share with you. So here is my summary. So the transformational leader builds high-performing cultures. The transformational leader defines what they can let go of. The transformational leader models excellence, and the team reflects that. The transformational leader transforms ideas into reality. The transformational leader transforms self first. So here's Hugh's 4 leadership principles for the transformational leader. The conductor knows the score. They get on the podium. We know where we're going. We understand the plan because we've studied it. That's a foundation. Know where you're going, have the skill set to get there. Your personal vision, your values, your goals need to tie with your company vision, value, goals, mission. Hire the best. I always hired the best orchestra players, best soloist. I wanted to surround myself with capable people. You become like the people you hang around. If you hang around broke people, don't expect to be rich. So we want to have relationships that matter. So this is about building and maintaining important relationships that bring us value. I hang around with some really good people. They do really good stuff. They impact my life in ways that I hadn't realized before. I learned from everybody every day. Remember the Shoeshine Man. Shoeshine Man had personal guiding principles that guided his decision making. So the foundations is where you're going. It's your plan, being able to articulate the plan and having the skills to articulate the plan. There's a lot more work there than appears. 2 is build the relationships with people that matter. Surround yourself with competent people, and then you've got the skill to lead those people. Leadership is influence. 3rd, the best musical groups in the world rehearse for every performance. We build these habits. We build what's called ensemble. This is how we function better when we're together. We create an ensemble of excellence in our teams, our boards, our committees, our staff. We create this ensemble. It's the synergy of functioning better than any of us can do alone. So these are systems, good meetings, good annual evaluations, good processes that we employ in our day-to-day work. We actually create the DNA of high performance in the how. How do we approach our work? And then balance. I talked about balance. There's rests in music for a very distinct reason. They punctuate the music. They're intentionally placed there. Rests in music are very, very important. Rests in our life gives us time to work, to play, to study, to rest. Think. Put it on your calendar. End of the day, look at your day. What did I do well? What do I need to learn? You teach yourself. These aren't secrets. These are universal truths. I've learned them the hard way. I'm going to give you an offer here to shorten the timeline for you. I have a program called the Unbound Leader. We don't know that we're bound up most of the time. We don't know that what we've inherited from the culture, from our family, from others is holding us back. It's time to untie those hands. It's time to unlock that potential. So I've created this program, and 4 weeks in, you're making capital presentations, sales presentations, donor presentations. You're getting the money. So there's 4 lessons that build the clarity of the language. Then the 4th one, that 1, 2, 3, build the clarity. The 4th one is, how do you do a speech? You want to get people on your team. You want to get new customers. You want to get donors. Well, there's verbal, there's a 1-page, there's a slide deck or a presentation. I give you the blueprint for those. The content is yours. So my program, I have this program called Income Accelerator. And it's a 3-month program for $5,000, which includes planning day with me and personal coaching. That's not in the radar for some people. So I've created a $1,000 program, which is 6 months of support and programs. You get a library of resources that you don't even know you're going to need. And you'll have them forever, but they're dripped to you sequentially, so you don't have to worry about what to do next. And every 2 weeks, we have an empowerment call, Q&A. Where are you? Are there other people working on the same stuff? How do we work together? So this program now is $997. It's going to go up to $24.97 any day. I've got groups that I'm starting together. Small groups work well together. So you study on your own. You have videos. You have downloads. You make a workbook. You have this vault of information. So there's 25 pieces to it, but you start right away, and each one gives you something you can do now to improve tomorrow, right now. But you've got this resource pool you can go and look at the rest of your career. In college, in graduate school, I made these notebooks for conducting. I used them the rest of my career. Oh, what was that? Oh, it's right here. So I made these workbooks that were valuable. It was a resource guide that I didn't have to go looking around for fundamental truths. They're short, they're to the point, they're applicable to what you're doing. It's not a lot of fluff, it's not theory. Now you can approach this with one payment of $997 or 4 payments of $297. So even when you're finished paying, you still get support, you still get the content. We have a private conversation group that goes on all the time, in addition to these bi-monthly calls together. It's on Zoom. We can see each other. People have found it to be very, very helpful. So the Unbound Leader has got a lot of stuff to it. It's not a bunch of stuff that you got to wade through. You can listen to it on audio. It's like listening to a podcast. It's stuff that you can grasp and take bites of. Here's what you do now. Building the system, building your skills, building your team, that you don't have to worry about it. You want to create the life that you deserve and the income to support that life. So you get, over the 6 months, you get sequenced lessons. You do at your own pace. You might want to take a year, 2 years doing it. It's all right. You've got it. You determine how fast you want to go there. 4 weeks in, you're hitting the money thing. Very clear. You work at your own pace. You participate in facilitated groups, facilitated by me. They're mastermind groups. We model how to do things together. We support each other. You work with others in community. And 4 weeks in, you're making capital presentations. Go here, theunboundleader.com. That's where you get this deal. Theunboundleader.com. That's what I have to offer you. Theunboundleader.com. Now, I offered you my free report. Conducting power-packed meetings. Costs you nothing. Email me right there. Hugh@hughbaloo.com. Email me, Hugh@hughbaloo.com. Say, I want the free report on meetings. I'll send it to you. No obligation. No autoresponder. Boom, you're in. If you want to book a meeting with me, email me. If you have questions, let's talk about what you need. If you want the program, theunboundleader.com. It's Hugh Ballou. It's Thursday night in America. I'm glad you're here. I hope there's been something helpful. I'd like to hear from you. Remember, Hugh Ballou Podcast is where you can pick up Orchestrating Success. I'm pushing 13,000 listeners on 2 podcasts, and that's great. That means people are finding value in those sessions. I'm going to sign off for today. I'd love to hear from you. I will send you the link for this recording because you've signed up. And I would like to hear from you. Here's a chat. What does it say? Hi, Hugh. Hi, Frenchie. Good to see you here. So thank you for being here. I'm going to sign off, and I will see you on social media or email. Let me hear from you. Take care.